Nice. Thank you, everyone. So good evening. We are going to start now. And today's topic, right? Um, when I plan about doing this is because one of the volunteers actually come and send me a message and requested for this topic to be done. And I think actually it's quite a timely topic that we should do right now because I feel that although COVID-19 is the big issue that we are facing at this point in time, but then don't forget, no, all the other societal problems never disappear. They are still there. And sometimes because of COVID-19, these societal problems are actually becoming bigger. But because on the news, every day we are seeing about the new cases and everything, so then we forget that this group of people still exists. So I think by talking about this today, I would like you all to maybe reflect and then share with me some methods or some ways you think we can reach out to these people. Okay, so what are we discussing today? We want to talk about the prevalence of mental health issue in Singapore, why some people will develop mental health issue, and also how can we play a part to help others who have mental health issue. So the word prevalence, what does that mean? It means that how likely or how many people will have mental health issue over the course of their lifetime from the day they born to the day they pass away. Okay, so let's go and look at some statistics. Oh, okay, so this is the part I introduce myself again. Anybody here for the first time, just share in the comments. Let me know if you are listening to Jacky for the first time. Okay, so if we have first timers, welcome. Hi, Jenna, Jay, Osim, Jeannie. Okay, nice. So if you are here for the first time, welcome. And if you have invited people in, thank you very much. I think at the end of the day, right, the talks that we are doing on Zoom, we want to use it as a way for us to reach out to more people. Because all these things that I share with you today, or I share with you over the past few weeks, right, they are actually very relevant to what we do as Team Nila. Okay, as a volunteer, we go out, we use sports to try to enrich so many people's life, and actually understanding all these knowledge help us to be able to help us to be able to understand our beneficiaries better. At the same time, teach us how to interact with them in a more appropriate way. Okay, so I hope you all will enjoy. So about me, you might be thinking, ayo, this Jacky look so young. At the same time, he's a volunteer manager. How come he want to talk about all this kind of stuff? So I just share a bit again about my background. So back then when I was in school, I was studying psychology, and then I also graduated with a master's in counseling. And then after that, I worked in the counseling field for a very short time. But during this time, my focus was more on group work. So many people come together, and then we try to help each other to understand the situation and potentially work some solutions. Okay, so during that time, I realized that the mental health scene in Singapore is actually quite, I would say there is a lot of challenges there. And I think a lot can be done from the public, where we will be able to reach out to this group because they are almost invisible. A lot of people don't know that mental health is a major problem in Singapore. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so we're going to start off by discussing about the state of mental health in Singapore. And helping me to do this framing is actually the Singapore Mental Health Study. So until today, right, this is the second time the mental health study has been conducted. The first time was in 2010, and then the follow-up was in 2016. Okay, so about 15,000 questionnaires were being sent out, and over 6,000 people responded. So from there, these are the data that IMH as well as MOH has collaborated to find out all these statistics for us. So there are some valuable insights here which I would like everybody to pay attention. First thing is what they will tell you what are the common mental health illness or mental health issue among the adult population in Singapore. So adult means that 18 years old and above. Okay, what are some of the factors that lead people to develop this kind of mental health issue? And then also, they also have some questions to ask the people, you know, if you have mental health issue, will you go and seek treatment? And that is very important. And I would like to discuss that today. So the first question, the first information I want to share with you. In Singapore, 13.9% of the people will develop mental health issue in their lifetime. Okay, so what does 13.9 mean? So right now in our room, we got 62 people, right? 13.9 means inside this group, within every 9 people inside this group, there will be at least one person who has potentially had a mental health issue before. Let's see, right? So in this group, it's safe to say that maybe 9 people have experienced mental health problems before in their life. Okay? It's very common. I would like to share that in the past, the statistics was 1 in 8, but right now it's 1 in 7. And then if you look at the more recent news about the teen suicide rate that is increasing, you can see that mental health issue is starting to become a new problem that we need to address soon. Okay, thankfully, this is something that all of us, within the community, all of us can actually do a part to try to help the situation. Okay, let's see. Okay, now it's time for you all to work your hand muscle. Help me to type. What do you think are the top three most common mental health issue in Singapore? Okay, type inside the comment. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Which are the top 3? Ginny, anxiety, OCD, depression. Okay, some more? Anyone else? Number 1 is schizophrenia. Okay. Depression, anxiety, OCD, bipolar, PTSD. Okay. Any more? Depression. All right. Okay. So there is actually there are a number of classifications that the mental health professional use, and then these are the names that we use to describe our mental health illnesses. Okay, we do not use words like stress or loneliness because those are the contributing factors. All right. So let me share with you. Number 3 on the list is alcohol abuse. Okay, alcohol abuse is a very interesting thing to appear here because why? If you never study psychology before, to the layman, you will think that alcohol abuse is just somebody who drink alcohol a lot. But then if you follow the official definition, right, alcohol abuse is the recurrent use of alcohol resulting to fulfill major role obligation at work or at school or at home. So for example, you drink and you drink and you drink, causing you to be unable to do your work. Either you cannot turn up for work, or it just really prevent you from being able to study, or it prevent you from being able to fulfill your role inside your family. So if you're a parent, you can't be a good parent because of your alcohol usage. Then also there is also recurrent use in situations that are physically hazardous, which means we all know that if you drink and you drive, it's dangerous. But then the people with alcohol abuse, they drink and they drive, even though they know they're dangerous, they get caught before, but they still continue to do it. Which means that the need to drink alcohol is so strong that they totally ignore all the potential consequences. Then they also have a lot of, they potentially have some alcohol-related legal problems. So for example, drink driving. Angeline, so this is alcohol abuse. It's not the same as alcohol addiction. Okay, because the alcohol addiction is you can drink, and you just like to drink. But alcohol abuse is you drink to the point you cannot even function in the society. Okay, now the next most common mental health issue in Singapore is OCD. Okay, OCD is a form of anxiety disorder, and the two main thing about OCD is the first 2 words. Okay, there is an obsession. Number 2, there is a compulsion. Very important. There must be these 2 factors. Okay, this one I will touch on that later because OCD is so how to say, people misunderstand, people make fun of it, and people really diminish the damaging result of OCD. So that one I will share with you all later, some personal experiences that I had. And number one is major depressive disorder, which commonly we use in our community is this depression. Okay, so these are the top 3 most common mental health illness in Singapore as found by the study. And what's the next thing that they found out? Majority of the people who got mental health illness, they do not seek help. Okay, and this is a very worrying trend. Okay, and I feel that there are multiple reasons why people don't seek help. Either number one, they do not recognize the symptoms, or number two, they feel that if they go and seek help, people will see them differently, or self-denial even, right? So most of the time, yes, stigma is a major problem in Singapore with regards to mental health issue, because later I will show you another survey which have very scary results. Okay, so we come to the important part. So usually you all realize by now my part 2 is usually the more interesting one. Why do people develop mental health issues? Okay, let's have a look. First and foremost, I would like everybody to understand something. Mental health issues are an illness, okay? It is a sickness inside the brain. Okay, it's the same as people who get cancer. It's the same as people who get virus infection. All right, something come in, affected their bodily system that caused them to fall sick. So it's the same thing for mental health. Something went into their brain, affected the way their brain is working, and therefore they present that whole suite of symptoms. Okay, so correct. So there is the whole idea of the chemical imbalance. There's also the whole idea, which later on I can use some statistics, images to show you. Now, to understand mental health and why people develop it, we need to understand this model. Okay, this is called the biopsychosocial model. In the middle, that section is called mental health, which means that we need to have our biological factors addressed, followed by our psychological factors addressed, and then social factors addressed. Then we will achieve mental health. Everybody understand? So all 3 must balance, then we will have some kind of health. If one side it is not balanced, then you will notice that your mental health is very hard to maintain. Okay, so what does bio mean? Bio means the physiological pathology, which means that everything that has got to do with the real person. For example, if I am somebody that I'm born with some kind of physical illness. Okay, for example, if I'm born with some of the birth disease like thalassemia. Okay, so this kind you born already, you have this blood disease, or you are born and then later on you are diagnosed with for example, if I got into an accident, yes, correct, Andy. If I got into an accident, I broke my arm. So now my arm is physically disabled already. Okay, so those are the contributing factors to our biology. Psychological, this one is a little bit difficult to understand. So you all just keep typing in the comments because I need to check understanding. Psychological factors are related to our thoughts, our emotion, our belief. Okay, so which means that how strong are we in our psychology when we face with difficult situations? Do we have the coping mechanisms to try to overcome those situations? Okay, for example, if Jacky face a difficult situation, the first thought that comes to my mind is, wow, this is too difficult. I cannot overcome it. Or I will tell myself that I am not enough. I am stupid. So if those are the thoughts that come in, do you think my psychological factors will protect me from trauma? So if I always have negative thoughts, I always have negative emotions, all right, do you think I will have enough psychological resources to protect me? Yeah. Okay. So if I have negative beliefs toward my abilities and all, my psychological factors is not enough. So if I face with challenging situation, my brain or my mind is not strong enough to carry me through the difficult situation. Okay, Joyce, this is a myth. It's not true. Okay. Then the last part is social. Social refers to our social factors. Okay, what do I mean by that? If today I'm born into a middle income family, higher income family, and lower income family, this financial financial situation that I'm born into will determine how I'm going to react to my situation. Okay, it doesn't mean that if I'm born into a rich family, I will not have mental health issue. And not that if I go to the low income family, I will have mental health issue. Doesn't mean that way. So for example, if I will give you example, okay, let's talk about Minister Chan Chun Sing. Okay, Minister Chan Chun Sing on TV, he already shared with us that he was born into a low income family. Yes or no? So because of his situation, he born into a low income family, it helped him to develop the resilience to overcome all the difficult challenges in his life. So you see, because of his financial situation at birth, allow him to develop certain resources so that when he faced with a difficult situation, he know how to handle it. Okay, then we come to another example, our environment. Okay, thank you, Mei Hui, for clarifying. So another thing is in our environment. If inside our environment, everybody is very negative, everybody always tell you that you are going to fail, you are not good, how do you think the kind of social support they will have can help them to achieve or to overcome the difficult trauma that they will face in next time in their life? All right, compared to somebody with very encouraging friends, people who always tell you, good job, you can do it, you know, everything, you just want, as long as you try hard enough, you will get it. So, you know, these kind of very encouraging words, once you say it to someone, you actually build up on his social support and give him or her a chance to see that there's a potential to help to resolve the problem. And lastly, of course, is the cultural effect. Okay, so the cultural effect is when this kind of, like for example, in Singapore, if I tell people that I have a mental health issue, usually people will look at me differently. So given this kind of culture that I live in, how do I seek help? How do I respond when I have a traumatic situation that happened to me? Right? Recently, I was watching a video. This person go through some difficult situation whereby that person was being raped in the club when she was drunk. Right? Then when she finally realized what has happened, she tell the grandparents. Then the grandparents scold her. Why you didn't protect yourself? This kind of thing so shameful, cannot say. So when you go through this kind of situation, and then the culture is to tell you, the culture that you are born in or the environment that you are born in, he see in that kind of culture where this is shameful, this cannot be done. How do you think the person will feel when she go through this traumatic rape situation? Right? So that's why culture also is a thing that we need to take note of. Okay, now I'll give you more concrete examples. Take a look over here. Why I tell you that mental health issue is an illness? Look at the picture right now. This picture is called a fMRI. Okay, so it's a functional MRI image of a brain. So the normal brain, you can see that it's lighted up. Everything is lighted up. What does that mean? It means that the brain is fully activated when the person is looking at the surrounding. They are registering the colors, they are registering the sights, the sound, the people that walk past, what kind of smell. So everything the brain is trying to register it. That's why you can see everything is light up. But then look at the depressed brain. Okay, the depressed brain look at that because the person has already, the mood is very flat. Okay, I use the word flat because there's no more up and down already. It's just completely flat. They are not paying attention to what's happening in front of them. They are not registering all the stuff that is happening. That's why you see the activation is very low. So this is just the basic activation. All right. So from here you can see if our brain of somebody who is who has mental health issue and somebody don't have look so different, is this enough evidence to tell you that this is a disease of the brain? Okay, so you all must realize it's not. It's sometimes when the person fall in or the person develop this kind of symptoms of mental health issue, right? It's not because they don't want to help themselves. It's not because they are not thinking positive. It's the brain is sick. That's why we need to find a way to help them. Okay. Next thing for the psychological, I use this picture because you see here, Nila win the race. Right? He win the race, he run the marathon and then he win, yay! So you see your past success, the times that you manage to overcome all the difficult situation in your life will form your weapon, your toolkit, right? To help you to overcome other challenges later you face in later part of your life. So for example, okay, this one I can share with you. When I was young, when I was in, when I was in primary 5, when I was in primary 5, okay, my mother used to give me $1.50 for my allowance, okay, but because one day I went to use the $1.50, I go and buy a toy at a bookshop, my mother found out, and then she decided to cut my allowance to 80 cents. So from primary 5 and primary 6, every day I only bring 80 cents to go to school. All right, one bowl of noodle is 50 cents. So means I left 30 cents to buy the soya bean. So because of this experience that I learned before, how to live with like just enough money, it allowed me to then go on with my life. When I reached secondary 3, I wanted to buy a very expensive gift for myself. It cost $20, but one day my allowance is $2. Right? So I only use $1 to eat the chicken rice, and then I go and drink water cooler. So I saved that $1. But how do I have this experience? It's because last time when I was young, when I was 11 years old, I learned how to live with just enough money. So then this knowledge helped me to address the difficult situation of not having enough money later when I'm 15 years old. So same thing, if when I'm young, I experience a failure, I experience a difficult situation, and I manage to overcome it. The knowledge that I acquire from this past experience will build up in my psychological resources so that next time when I face with an even bigger situation, the chance of me overcoming the situation is much higher. Okay, understand? Right? Then the last part about social is you see over here in this photo, Nila has other friends. Okay, like the Water Wally, Captain Green, Singa, Charity the elephant, and Dreamy the bee. So what we need to understand is that when we have friends, when we have social support, when we have positive influence inside our life, these people can potentially help us to prevent us from being overcome by the trauma. Let me give you an example. One of the trauma that I faced early in my years, right, is when I didn't do my homework and my father whacked me. He really whacked very hard. Okay, so he whacked very hard. So then the only person that at that time I was very lucky. I had 2 best friends, okay, who stay at the block across from my road. So the next day when I'm in school, I feel like my parents don't love me. I feel like I believe what they tell me when they say that I was being picked up in the rubbish bin. I really believe, and I wanted to run away from home, and I didn't want to go home anymore. So, but I told my friend, so my friend, they were able to to listen to me and understand the difficulty that I face. And then they tell me that, you know, maybe it's not so bad, just try again to go home, you know, see how your parents react to you and all this. So because of their care and their concern that they show to me on that day that I got caning, I feel that somebody has paid attention to me. Therefore, I never give up and I went back home. Wait, what is that? Okay. So cool. So this is the part where I will address later on. I think this is another myth that many people misunderstand about mental illness. Okay. So I hope I clarify the biopsychosocial model clearly and you all understand roughly what it means. Okay. So there's a biological factor, psychological factor. At the same time, there's also a social factor involved. So why we need to understand this? Because this will help us to determine how we can help people who are suffering from mental health problems. Okay. All right. So the first part about biology. Okay, what you can do is you need to encourage help-seeking behavior. All right, because why we establish the fact that this is an illness. Okay, this is not a state of mind. This is not something that you know, you can overcome just by positive thinking. Sometimes people need to eat medication. Sometimes they need to really see a counselor or a psychologist. So you need to make sure that if you have a friend or you know somebody who exhibits certain signs of mental health issue, you must ask them to go and see a doctor or see a counselor or you know, something like that, so that they will be able to get the help that they need. Okay, so these are the numbers that all of you must take note of. So you all just now one person say that I do not know which number or who to call. So if the person has a high suicide risk, call SOS. Okay, so write down this number, please. If they have high suicide risk, must call SOS. SOS you can call on behalf, no problem. Okay. Second, if this person have a mental health issue that they would like to seek help at IMH, why we need to seek help from IMH? Okay, because at IMH is subsidized care. IMH is like your polyclinic or your government hospital for mental health issue. So you can call IMH and they will help you to book an appointment. This one you cannot call on behalf. The patient must call by themselves. Okay. Next one, if yours is not a serious issue, but you just need to talk to somebody to just make sure that I'm not, to make sure that my situation I can still handle. I just need some assurance for people to tell me that I can handle my situation. You call the National Care Helpline. Right now, this National Care Helpline is manning 24 hours. And everybody that is answering the phone call is a professional counselor or psychologist. So you need to tell them what the situation is. They will ask you the questions and then to help you to understand the kind of challenges that you are facing. If over the phone, they notice that you are having, you are exhibiting symptoms of mental health problems, they will refer you either to the IMH or the polyclinic that have psychiatric services. Understand? And then the last one, Clarity Singapore. Clarity Singapore is a mental health charity. If today you feel that you need counseling or you need psychotherapy, but you do not have money, you do not have money to pay for services, and you really would like to seek help, you can call Clarity first and then see whether they are able to assist you. They got 2 centers, in fact 3 centers. The first center is at Yishun, Block 854, near Khatib MRT. The second center is at Toa Payoh Agape Village, which is at Toa Payoh Lorong 8, next to the market. Okay, and then the third center is at Mount Alvernia Hospital. Okay, so you just call this number, centralized number, then they will direct you to wherever is nearest to your house. So when do you need to call this number? Wait. Yeah, when do you need to call this number? Okay, this is the second thing you need to do. You need to observe the sign and signal of people when they need help. Okay, so you look over here in this chart. So this is a chart that is being created by the government in Australia. Okay, so these are the signs and symptoms that we all need to look out for. If today, okay, for example, if today I get retrenched and then I'm feeling depressed and unhappy for one day, I mean, of course, y'all as a friend, you can come and console me. But if I'm unhappy for 1 week, 2 weeks, even up to 1 month, 2 months over the same issue, then as a friend, please step forward and just raise up the topic. Are you feeling okay? Do you think you may have developed some kind of mild depression? It's okay to ask this kind of question. All right? This is for you to recognize that if I have any of these symptoms for an overly long period, right? It's not normal. It's not normal. Okay? It's not normal at all. So it's like substance abuse. If I decided that, wow, because of my life situation right now, I take the blue and I sniff every single day, right? Or I take the alcohol and I drink every single day just to, cure my unhappy feelings. So if this become a prolonged thing, please step in. This is the time for you to go and help the person. Anyone got any question on this slide or not? Okay, no question. Okay, now come to the last part. I think it's very important. How many signs before is confirmed? Okay, Betty, good question. How many signs before is confirmed? There's no such thing as confirmed. We are not supposed to diagnose anybody. Okay, you're not supposed to diagnose. You are not an expert. I am not an expert. As a counselor back then also, one of the rules is you are not the person to give the diagnosis. All right? What we can do is we just spot the signs and then we try to identify what is the issue that they are going through. All right? Nobody should go and give a confirmed diagnosis and say, okay, you MDD, okay, you OCD, okay, you BPD. Cannot like that. Please don't do that. It's wrong. Okay? It's not supposed to be like that. So when you notice that somebody is having these negative symptoms, right, for a long time or extended period of time, please just raise it up and go and ask them to go and seek help. So they can call the National Care Helpline, they can call the IMH helpline, all right, or they can just call Clarity if they don't want to call government, they want to just call a private charity, just call Clarity, it's fine. All right. Yeah, Angeline, you're right. See doctor. Okay, so the rule of thumb is usually only the psychiatrist, which is the doctor, the psychiatrist will be able to do the diagnosis. Okay. How long is long? Okay. Betty, have you okay, so most of you here know who I am, and part of what Jacky is to all of you is that I'm usually very happy. But if you notice that I start to become sad and I become more and more sad, then you go and ask Ellen, hey Ellen, is Jacky okay? Jacky look very sad. Then Ellen will tell you, oh yeah, Jacky already sad for very long already. Then after that, the next event you see me, I am still sad. Then you go and ask Chong Ming, hey Chong Ming, is Jacky sad? What happened to Jacky? Is he okay? Right? And then even Chong Ming also tell you, yeah, I don't know what happened. Jacky suddenly changed to become like that. Then this is the time you already notice that something is not right. How can somebody 1 month ago who is always so happy, so happy-go-lucky, everything is okay, but then suddenly throughout the period become so flat, no more emotion, or just withdrawn, very quiet, right? So the changes are big enough for you to notice, then you just need to pay a little bit more attention. That's why I say, right, observe correctly what is the sign and signal for help. Okay? If a person always have negative problem and attitude and behavior, is it a sign of a psycho problem? Akim, you might need to put more details. Don't understand. Any suggested ways to help someone who refuse to admit that they need help? Suggested ways, right? Okay, next slide is the suggested ways. Physical appearance and a telltale sign, yes. And Chloe is right. Prolonged sadness for no apparent reason. Okay, this is the slide that I was talking to you about. If today you are one of the people who feel that mental health is just something inside their brain, they just need to sort it out themselves, right? This slide is for you. Look over here. The first finding is that more than 5 in 10, that means more than 50% of the people will not want to live or work with somebody with a mental health condition. Which means if today I come to you and I tell you like, oh, actually I have a OCD and my OCD is washing, so I cannot stop washing my hands. I always feel that my hands are dirty. Then you will think that, wow, this person is got problem one. Better avoid, better distance myself. Okay. If you feel like that, you are not alone. At least 50% of whoever that they have interviewed feel like that as well. Okay. The key thing is we need to understand the mental illness. Then we will be able to we will be able to overcome this problem. If a person mentioned that their neighbor is always making a lot of noise, whether this is the sign of mental problem. Can pause first. This one I won't be able to answer right now. I can answer later. Now, then you see this one, 6 in 10. It means 60% of the people believe that mental health conditions are caused by a lack of self-discipline and willpower. Means what? If today I'm depressed, it's because I let myself become depressed. If I'm depressed, I don't want to do anything, it's because of my own fault, right? So these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. If the psychological trauma is so strong, and all along in my life, I've never succeeded before, all along in my life, I've always been criticized by other people, where can I find the strength to stand up? Right? Where can I find the conviction to tell myself that I'm good enough if nobody has told me that I'm good enough before? Right? So it's not something that we all can use our self-discipline and our willpower to fix. It's not like that. How we can help the person is, once you observe that the person is feeling sad for a long, long time, what you can do is you can help the person. You remember the 3 things I said just now? Biological, that part you can't do much because we need a doctor to prescribe the medication. We need the counselor or psychologist to go and provide the intervention. The social part is where all of us can play a part in. If you notice the person is sad, remember all the 3 lessons that I talked about before, right? Including the one that Chief Hockling has done. Yes, provide a listening ear. Because a lot of time when people develop a mental health condition, they will withdraw. They won't dare to tell anybody. So by providing the listening ear, you're helping them to open up. If a person only feel different on death anniversary, so again, is it a prolonged thing? Right? If it's not prolonged, that means it's normal. It means that this day come, they will feel very down. But then after this day is over, they are able to move on to proceed with their normal life. Then okay, there is no issue here because it is normal to feel sad. Some days I also will feel sad. Not every day I'm happy. Okay? Now, what else? See the second last one. 8 in 10 people feel that the best therapy for a person is to be part of a community. So if you believe that people should be part of the community and that's the best therapy, then how come the first finding is 50% of the people not willing to live or work nearby a person with mental health condition? Do you see the discrepancy here? We know the correct answer, but then we are not willing to do the correct action. Okay? Now, come to the next slide, right? This is the part that I want to talk about. there is a study done by the IMH to find out whether all of us are aware of, are we able to recognize mental health illness? Okay, let me tell you the top 3 things that people can recognize. Number 1 is dementia. So if the elderly person, the memory start to fade away, you all are able to tell that this is dementia. And I think it's quite recognizable because all of us watch TV, they got tell us what is 老人痴呆症, correct? Or the 年老的衰退症. So all these kind of thing we see on TV and in the real life is quite similar. Yeah, coming. All right. The second thing that people are able to detect is alcohol abuse, because it's also very obvious. There's always a bottle and there's always a lot of drinking, right? So alcohol abuse, people can detect, no problem. I know. I haven't shown anything yet. Okay, the third thing that people can detect is depression. Okay, because why? Depression, again, there's a lot of outward symptoms. Okay, so these are the top 3 things that people are able to detect: dementia, alcohol abuse, and depression. Now I ask you this question. Okay, what is this? See, one by one, all the people start to say OCD. Okay, so now I want to talk about OCD. Remember just now what did I say? OCD got 2 main things. OCD got 2 main things. The first thing is obsession. The second thing is compulsion. If a person like to keep his desk tidy, it's not OCD. Yes, it is okay to be clean and neat. So the first picture is not OCD. Okay? If the person like to clean their house, if the person like to have a clean house, how many of you like to stay in a dirty house? Right? All of us got do housework, right? So if you do housework, does it mean you got OCD or not? Don't have, because there is no obsession. After I clean already, I'm okay. I can sit down and watch TV. That's not OCD. But okay, if you after cleaning, you put the item back in your place, are you able to go back to your normal life? If you can, means this is not OCD. Okay, stand by. I see somebody raise the hand. Okay, Andy, you can unmute and then you can ask your question. Andy, you want to unmute and ask the question? Oh, okay. No worries. Okay, let me tell you what is OCD. OCD have many types. OCD got many types. The first type is what everybody see on television, washing and cleaning. The next one is ordering and arranging, which is also sometimes the TV got show, but show anyhow. All right, so some people really need to arrange things. They need to arrange by size. They need to arrange by, the length of the pencil or something. If they don't arrange, they will need to do it. Okay, the next one is checking, which I have a story to share with you all later. Then there's also repeating, there's counting. What about somebody who needs to do cleaning, laundry at specific time, unwilling to change even for important doctor appointment? Angeline, I have an OCD friend who clean and clean for more than 5 hours. If the person clean already and still don't think it's clean. Okay, remember guys, slow down on the questions. Let me just explain here. OCD is an anxiety disorder. It's part of the anxiety disorder family. There is anxiety if I don't do the action. Okay, so I want to share the story right now about checking. So back then, I encountered this one person, right? This person is going through a final year exam. Okay, going through a final year exam. So could be O level, could be A level, could be university or whatever lah. Going through the final year exam. But something happened. During that year, When the person come and see me, the person was around July already, June, July period. Is it June, July period? Sorry, May to June period. So another half a year more before the exam come, right? So what the person presenting problem was that this person the person cannot believe that all the switches inside the light was turned off. That means every time they go out, they'll need to turn off the lights, correct? So this person cannot stop checking whether the light is turned off or not. So what happened is, when the person is studying, suddenly want to stand up and go and check the light in the kitchen. Then after that, they turn it off. Then they come back. But then they still think, I think I forgot to turn off the light. So go and check again. And then until the grandmother have to say, it's off already, go and study. The person don't believe. I don't believe. Let me go and off it again. So this thing caused the person unable to study. And I think they spend a few hours just to sort out the light problem before they can do other stuff. So can you see how the checking behavior has impacted the person's primary responsibility, which is to study for the exam? Okay, if it has affected to that point, then I will say this can be considered as a mental health issue. All the example that you all share with me, do you have that part whereby because of the situation, they cannot function in their normal life? Is there a situation, that means is there a backstory where they cannot function in their normal life? If there is no such problem, right, that means after they complete their routine, they can function. Then that is not OCD. All right. So let me see this. From my ex-school library partner who has OCD, not taking a medication, very serious. Then what else? Suspected of mental health issue, a big problem if the person deny having a problem. Okay. Yes. So the next checking that I also encountered was the person had to check whether they got leave any bags inside at the hawker center. Because why? The person left the bag at hawker center one time. Ever since that one time, the anxiety kicked in. Always have a fear that they have left something behind. So whenever they go out for a family meal at the hawker center and they are about to stand up and leave, the person will need to check at least 1.5 hours before the person feel okay to leave. So can you see how painful it is? Inside their brain, what they told me is inside their brain, they know. I know. A lot of people tell me already, they tell me I took everything already. But then there's another anxiety part of their brain that keep telling them, no, still got, you still need to check. Can you see? So that part is the problem. The brain is the problem. The brain is the one that is telling them. The brain makes it hard for them to go and believe. Okay. Now let's go on to the second example. I forgot to hide the thing. If you go and see this photo, okay, this is a photo from a very famous Hollywood film, I think 2 years ago. So this one person have many personality. What is the name of this disorder? Yeah, Chloe, is called Split. That's right. If you want to watch this movie, it's called Split. Can go and rent it on Amazon videos and all these things. Okay, so what is the mental health problem here when the person have what you call the split personality? Anyone? Okay, the answers start to come in already. Schizophrenia, bipolar. Okay, so let me tell you something. The answer is right there. Okay, so this issue is called, this is a personality disorder. Okay, this is not schizophrenia, guys. So this is not schizophrenia. Every time when we all go and watch television, let me explain to you why we think this is schizophrenia. Because in Chinese, schizophrenia is called 精神分裂症. And the word 分裂 means split. So people thought that split means this one. Okay, this is not. This is called dissociative identity disorder. Also caused by trauma, which means that the patient go through a very difficult situation, then a new personality emerge to take care of that, to protect the person, to overcome that difficult situation that they are facing. Usually, this will happen in childhood when there's a very severe trauma. So could be a very bad case of physical abuse or sexual abuse or something along those lines. Okay, so then there will multiple personality come out to protect the main personality. Okay, so this is called multiple personality disorder. Why I need to show this one is because everybody confuse this with schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is different. Okay, look here. Everybody look at the picture closely. Schizophrenia, when the Chinese people call it 精神分裂症, right? 精神 means what? 精神 means the mental health. Mental health split. That means this person, the thinking process, everything split. So when you have schizophrenia, if you have a positive schizophrenia, you will have delusion and hallucination. That means what you see, you will see something extra. What you hear, you will hear something extra. So that time I also encounter a case where this person, the hallucination that they are hearing is the Deng Lijun song. Okay, so every time you will hear Teresa Teng, the old song from this female singer inside the ear. Okay, this person do not have any, so flattened effect. What does flattened effect means? Flattened effect means got the face have no more emotion already. So you like Jacky. The only thing I can stare at you is like a blank face because I cannot respond to you. I don't want to respond to you because there's a lot of people talking to me in my ears or I'm seeing something in my eyes. Okay, so for this particular case that I encounter, this person, they only answer the yes or no question. For example, do you eat your medication? Yes. Are you feeling happy? Yes. But the face is still blank. Do you want to go out? No. All right. Then shortly after the visit, I went away with my colleague. Then this person left the house and go and buy food. See, they buy the food, eat, then go back home again. So that's why when you are outside, right? Actually, you really cannot tell who has schizophrenia because why? All the hallucination all happening inside. You really don't know what this person is saying or what this person is going through. So why I use these two examples is because these two examples are what people cannot identify. They don't know that this is a problem or they identify wrongly. Just because the person like to arrange the thing, we call it OCD, and then we make a joke out of it. Aiya, you OCD lah, right? Then if the person suddenly from angry becomes sad, then we say, aiya, you schizophrenia lah, right? But actually, it's all wrong. What about the sovereign lady case? Do you think that one is a mental health issue? Yeah, do you think it's a mental health issue? Right? Personally, I don't think it's a mental health issue because number one, this sovereign is a movement that happened in the US. So people believe that other people got no power over them. So that is definitely not a mental health issue. It's a belief. It's like a religion, like a cult. Oh, okay. So yes, there are many mental health issues happening around the world, but in Singapore, I think these are the main few. There's also some people who have personality disorder, which could be related to borderline personality, multiple personality and stuff like that. But all these are lesser happening in Singapore. Mostly happening in Singapore is the mood disorder, which is like depression and bipolar. Since we have a few more minutes time, I just quickly run through what is bipolar, okay? So bipolar Okay, David, after this person arrange already, can the person go and work normally or not? Can this person still go out and, you know, chit chat with you, eat with you, drink coffee with you? Or is the person's whole life fixated on this object? Right? So you need to answer that question. If by doing so, they can go and do the thing, then okay, fine. Because all of us got some habit as well. There are some little children who need the 臭臭. No 臭臭 cannot sleep. So is that a mental health issue, I ask you all? Right? So don't be so quick to go and put the label onto other people. This is not what this session is about. This session is about telling you that such things exist. We need to understand, we need to know, so that we do not make the mistake that will cause people with mental health issue to withdraw even further. Okay? Now, intellectual disability is not a mental health issue. That one is what you call that? Is a biological issue. We can all recover if mental health sickness is cured. That's right. Okay. Now, this session definitely needs some Q&A, right? Let's go. Any question? Haniza, form of defense mechanism. Yes. Yes and no. Yeah. Obsessive compulsive behavior. Yeah, true. Maybe you can say that. Any good point or advantage of person who have mental health issue? Okay. This one, let me just say to you that when you have mental health issue, actually is a very difficult situation because how to say it's not like what TV mentioned, no, that you have this problem, then after that because of this problem now you have a super perspective about life, and then you know you can draw very well, you can do this, do that. It's not, this is not the case. Although there are some people who manage to succeed, which you can find a newspaper, that means through their mental health they manage to break through, like, you know, because of the schizophrenia they are able to draw out their hallucination, and then the hallucination is very artistic and they become a very famous artist later. Got this kind of case, right? But this is not the norm. Not everybody will go through that. Yeah. How best to accept and support person with MHI? Just now Karen Chan already mentioned, right, is to provide a listening ear, and then we need to take away our lens of judgment. We cannot judge these people. It's not, again, because the reason why we don't judge them is because we already understand, because after we come through this session we already understand that they did not choose to have this mental health issue. It's not because they are weak. It's not because you know, they don't want to, they are not disciplined enough. All right, because we understand that, that's why we are able to treat them like as if how we are going to treat somebody who has a physical illness. Encounter some people talking to themselves. Actually, I also talk to myself a lot, especially when I'm running. I always tell myself, Jacky, one more kilometer, you can do it. So I don't think talking to yourself is enough to determine whether this person has a mental health issue or not. And yes, Chloe, you are right. Stop using words like you have OCD, I'm depressed. Because when you use these words, you make the illness look very cheap. Nobody in Singapore, at least nobody that I know, nobody go out and say, wow, say lo, I got cancer. Nobody says this kind of thing one. Wow, nobody go and like, wow, say lo, I broke my arm and I have to amputate my arm. Nobody say this kind of thing because they feel that this kind of thing is very sway. You know, you don't say such thing because you don't want to bring bad luck upon yourself. Then why you use words like I'm depressed? Why do you use words like you bipolar? You know, why is it that it's okay for you to curse other people using mental health illness terminology, but not okay for you to use physical health terminology to go and curse other people? Right? So these kind of words, you need to learn how to remove it from your dictionary. Yeah. So if there's something really that you want to keep doing and you want to keep doing, right, it's called, oh, I'm very obsessed. I'm very obsessed about this. Yes, okay, fine, no problem. But you say, well, I OCD, that's why I need to do this, do that. No, 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 no. You cannot do this. Because why? The people who are really suffering from OCD, it's very hurtful to hear this because you are making fun of their illness. Yeah, psychotherapy is the therapeutic treatment of mental illness provided by trained mental health professional. Exactly. All right, so there are many types of psychotherapy available, especially in Singapore, right? We got the solution focus, we have cognitive behavioral. What else there are? So many, man. Yeah, so many, really. But most commonly, you will see is a cognitive behavioral. And yes, Mei Hui, you are right. Stupid, crazy, mad, idiot, all these are words that we cannot use. I mean, I don't want to be the kind of person to tell you what you can or cannot say, but I just think that when you say this kind of thing, you must understand what is the consequence of you using such words. Yeah. All right. Like, I usually will criticize the situation. If I see something that's really being stupid, I say, wow, this thing is done in a very stupid way. I don't go and tell people that you are the stupid person. No, 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 no. I do not use this kind of terminology because number one, if you say you believe or not, you say something long enough, the person will believe you. All right. Do you think there's this thing called possess? Wow, talk about supernatural. Okay, possess. This one we can talk about it another time in person. But the short answer is I think possession does happen, and but I don't think it will be confused as mental health issue. I don't think it will be confused. What's the difference between psychologists and psychiatrists? Awesome. Psychiatrists are people who went to study medicine. Okay, so they graduate as a doctor, then after that they take an extra course on psychiatry. So they are the guys who give you your medicine every time you go and see them. Okay, psychiatrists if you just plainly go through psychiatry training, you do not provide psychotherapy. That means it's normal, like go polyclinic like that. Hello, doctor, I'm feeling this. Okay, fine, here's your prescription and your MC. You can go. Thank you very much. Okay, but the psychologist is someone who is different. Psychologists, they go and study the degree in psychology, then the master in clinical psychology to become psychologists. So they train all the different psychotherapy methods like CBT, SFBT, etc. And then they will use the therapy on the client. So they are the people that you talk to for 1 hour inside the room where it's just the two of you. Always support the mentally ill. There's a person behind the illness. Behind the label is a person, not the illness. Exactly. All right. There are a couple of times where I personally think that I will also fall into depression. You know, I was just sharing with my teammate earlier that when I was 22 to 25-year-old, those 3 years are the most difficult years of my life, right? That I decided that maybe, I'm not good enough. I was even contemplating suicide at that time. Yeah. So situation change, no matter how positive a person look, you don't know what is the story. So the person is the more important thing. The label is not so important. Just like you don't go around and tell, that's the uncle, Uncle Lim, the guy got cancer. You don't say this kind of thing about other people, right? Right? So you cannot go there and that's Uncle Lim, the guy who got a mental illness. Is there a support group? Call Clarity. They might be able to help you out. Okay, so if not, then we can wrap up today's session. Got few announcements for you. Again, due to popular demand, I make some changes to the announcement section, so please stay on for a couple more minutes. First thing first, next week's session is already out. We have a special guest speaker, is Miss Serene Chua. All right, so I think those of you who are Team Nila volunteers, you already met Miss Serene Chua. So what you all don't know about her is that she's a certified trainer in system thinking, design thinking, and she's also a curriculum designer. One of the things that she is very, very versed in is in conflict management. That's why this time we are going to do a talk about why can't we have peace in our life. Why is it that we need to fight with other people, at home, at work, and in general life? So we're going to be talking about conflict management, conflict resolution methods here. Who should attend? All right, because like I say, conflict happen everywhere. So we need to understand how come conflict will happen, and then how can we solve this conflict without hurting ourselves and don't hurt other people. All right, so the QR for this will be up in about 9 p.m. So don't need to scan now, can scan later. I will send it in the group chat as well. Okay, scan later. Next thing is This one. How many of you submit video already? Okay, so all the volunteers are welcome to participate in this. This is the Teen Mila Got Talent show. What we are going to ask you to do is to showcase your talent, right? If you can sing, you can dance, you can bake. If you can clean, guys, if you can clean, please do a video. What do I need help with right now? I need to learn how to clean the shower screen, how to remove the watermark. So if you have a good way to fix this kind of situation, the household problems, and how you can use whatever like vinegar or what to go and clean, right? Please record a video. So you record a 5-minute video of yourself and post it at this link, okay? go.gov.sg/tn.talent. I think I spelled wrong, less one T. TN got talent 2020. Go and post it up there. All right. So starting from this Friday, we are going to have a show where you know, now already got a lot of show, right? We have our own show on Saturday. We have the Jacky show on Wednesday, and now we have the Xiao Ming and the Xiao Pauline show on coming Friday. Okay, so we're gonna be featuring all these videos that y'all submit. Then you'll be like, wow, this Jacky want to cheat us, make us submit all these things for what? If you submit this video, one video equals to 10 care packs. Go and donate to the migrant worker. All right, so you donate to the migrant worker, it will add on to the 5,500 care packs that we are all trying to hit. Okay, so we are almost there. You guys have been awesome in helping to do the workout. But right now, just you know, share a bit of what you have learned during the circuit breaker, be it a new exercise, a new hobby. Share with us so that all of us can celebrate your success together. If not, then thank you so much everyone for joining us today. You guys have been amazing. Always asking the questions that help to make this session very fun, very engaging, very interactive for everyone. So thank you so much for your participation. Next week when Miss Serene come along, please also come and support, and also, you know, give her the kind of what you call that, this support that you've been giving to us. Ask her all the difficult questions, okay? The more difficult, the better. Don't give chance. You all never give me chance, better don't give her chance. Thank you very much, everybody. Got any last minute question, please come and put inside the comments. I try to answer you. If not, that's the end for today. See you next week. Bye. Thank you, everybody.